Yay, it's Friday. I think my t-shirt matches my light color. Might need to change my light color. but I'll worry about that shortly. All right, welcome to the Investing Book Club. Here we are again. I'm hoping to be joined by a couple of people that even come on the stream today. That'd be fun. It's much more fun when I have peeps to join me. Hoping Misha can make it today. Maybe some others. So let's see what happens, hey? But yeah, definitely say hi if you're here. Put a hi in the comments, something like that. I'll even put a link if you want to come onto the stream and actually be on the show. You're very welcome to do that. Show. I use the word show very loosely, very loosely. All right, this is definitely. I think I should start saying this stuff is for entertainment purposes only because at the end of the day, I'm not a financial advisor. I do like to invest in things. I think it's a very important piece of our future to make investments, no matter how big or small. But yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm here to level up, just like you, hopefully. So yeah, wishing you a happy Friday if you're in that part of the world, or a happy Thursday evening if you're in that part of the world. Um, and yeah, I'm going to share my screen like I always do very shortly, and we'll get down and boogie with financial literacy stuff. We're reading the Charlie Munger book, and it's really good actually. Like I'm getting a lot about the psychology of. Well, last week we were talking about the the 7 different. What are they called? They were called the human misjudgment. Human misjudgment. Oh, there's the other book. All right, let's go. I'm going to go load up my book here. Now, we only do half an hour of book club. I feel like that's enough of that on a Friday morning. But I think even if you get one great takeaway, you're winning, right? That's the plan. Oh, hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Feel free to say hi. Love to know who you are and where you are at. And yeah, if you want to come on the stream as well, let me know. All right, finding the Charlie Munger audiobook, and we can get down to business. Let's see. Charlie Munger, The Complete Investor. There we go. Okay, and play. All right, almost there. Hope you're having a great Friday. If you're in Melbourne, it's pretty wet here. I don't know if we're making news anywhere else, but yeah, it's pretty wet. All right, loading up the player and getting ready for action. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen now.
Psychological denial.
All right, hang on. Here we go. Present and share screen. Remember, if you want to come on the show and actually be part of this, that'd be great too. I'm looking for people to come on and just hang out with me, really. That'd be more fun. All right. Hopefully you can now see my screen. I know you can because I'm looking at it as well. And I'm going to take notes as we go, but I'm in the habit of stopping more. Stopping more, talking more. I think that's more valuable, really. Otherwise, you could just read the book yourself. All right, here we go. Remember, not financial advice. Entertainment purposes only. All right, here we go.
One should recognize reality, even when one doesn't like it. Charlie Munger, Berkshire Annual Meeting 2000. A friend of our family had a super athlete, super student son who flew off a carrier in the North Atlantic and never came back. And his mother, who was a very sane woman, just never believed that he was dead. And of course, if you turn on the television, you'll find the mothers of the most obvious criminals that man could ever diagnose. They all think their sons are innocent. That's simple psychological denial. The reality is too painful to bear, so you just distort it until it's bearable. We all do that to some extent, and it's a common psychological misjudgment that causes terrible problems. Charlie Munger, Harvard University, 1995. A projection prepared by anybody who stands to earn a commission or an executive trying to justify a particular course of action will frequently be a lie, although it's not a deliberate lie in most cases. The man has come to believe it himself, and that's the worst kind. Projections should be handled with care, particularly when they're being provided by someone who has an interest in misleading you.
All right. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, this guy's saying that the worst kind of lie is when we're not aware we're lying. I can see that that's valid, and that we're all in some sort of denial. Hey, how you going, Harley? Welcome back. Good to see you again this week. Good to see you. Yes, yeah, I say this a lot too. So, and probably in myself. Let's face it. Levy isn't left. Why is that worse than another lie? I don't know. That is a good question as well. We've got lots of interaction. Yeah. Okay. So, so Levy isn't left is saying, why is a lie that we're not sure about or that we're not aware that we're lying worse than any other? I guess mainly because it's like in a blind spot. So, like, while it's not malicious, we're just unaware that it's happening. So we can't do anything about it. That might be a reason. Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. All right. Let's keep going. Thanks for the participation. I really appreciate you, Levy isn't left and Harley. You also lie to yourself. Maybe that's why. Oh, yeah, constantly. Constantly lying to myself about my age, about my ability. Not my, like, I don't lie about my age, but I really do lie about a lot. I lie about my own longevity. I really do in my occurring world think I'm going to live forever. And, I'm sure that the odds are against me on that. Let's put it that way. Why is a lie bad in itself? Okay, that's a very philosophical question. And I guess we could go down that path, but the thing is, we're trying to level up our financial literacy. So I'm wondering if I should kind of pause on that, only so that we could get some financial literacy. But I do like the conversation. What is truth better than falsehood? Yeah. Fleishoof. I think you mean falsehood, but Fleishoof? I'll have to Google that. All right, let's keep going
Charlie
for a
Munger,
bit.
Berkshire Annual Meeting, 1995. Failure to handle psychological denial is a common way for people to go broke. Charlie Munger,
That's
Harvard
the thing.
University,
You can go broke
1995.
by lying to yourself.
People hate to hear bad news or anything inconsistent with their existing opinions and conclusions. For this reason, if something is potentially painful, the human brain often goes to work trying to deny reality. Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman believes that people do not invest even the smallest amount trying to actually figure out what they've done wrong. Not an accident. They don't want to know. For example, smart investors should have known that it was not possible for Bernard Madoff's fund to generate not only positive but amazingly consistent returns. What were Madoff's investors thinking when, month after month, they received financial statements that were positive with little volatility?
I've totally been scammed before by exactly this phenomenon where, like, in a crypto-related investment, the returns were consistent. It's something I've learned to distinguish for myself. If returns are consistent, it's not legit. It's impossible. That's not how investment works. So, when someone's promising you something and it's a consistent return, your spidey senses should start tingling straight away. Yeah, I agree with you. Levy isn't left. You are full of wisdom. We want to create our own truth. That's exactly right. Well, that's the thing. When I was being scammed I got to put my phone on silent here. It's going crazy. When I was being scammed out of my hard-earned savings, I was also telling myself, maybe this is true. Maybe this is the one. Maybe I'll be okay. Maybe this can provide a consistent return. But nope. All right, let's continue on.
Madoff investors were so happy with the results that they simply distorted reality. In short, The investors liked the results they saw on the statements from Madoff so much that they went into a state of psychological denial. Even a professor who wrote a scholarly book on gullibility was an investor in the Bernard Madoff Ponzi scheme.
So yeah, Bernard Madoff was, if you don't know who he is, was like the guy who kind of pulled off the world's largest Ponzi scheme, and many lives were destroyed. And many savvy investors, including, as you were saying, a person who wrote a book on gullibility, fell for the scam because they just wanted to believe so much.
A common example of psychological denial happens when people make projections about a potential investment. Weirdly, sometimes the fewer facts there are to support a well-told story, the more believable it may be for certain investors. Only when real facts start to appear do these people start to question the story. Daniel Kahneman pointed this out. It's all too easy to tell stories that make sense of one's life in retrospect. This is why it's particularly dangerous to short a so-called story stock. Another example that Munger has cited for the psychological denial tendency at work is academics who love the beauty of mathematics. The mathematics of certainty, e.g., trigonometry, geometry, is so much better put together than the messy world of statistics and decision-making under conditions of uncertainty. The love of this beautiful math can cause these academics to ignore the fact that the assumptions which form the basis of their mathematics are flawed.
Good point. That is a really good point. So with maths, we assume that maths are based on fact, like science, but statistical math is not based on fact. So it's a really interesting area because we associate the word math with reliability, factual. And yes, Levy isn't left, saying the universe is one great dance of desire for power. How exciting. I have to agree. Where are you based, Levy isn't left? Where are you in the world?
12. Excessive self-regard tendency. We don't like complexity, and we distrust other systems.
Wait. Misha is here. All right, let me add her in. Hello. That's all right. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for being patient with me. I apologize.
No problem. No, that's fine. Misha Hall joining us. I need to update. I don't know if I can update the title of the stream, but she's joining us out of the Gold Coast, I presume, today.
Yes, on the Gold Coast today.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Well, we might as well keep going because we're on a roll here. So yeah, happy to keep going.
Yeah,
cool.
Happy.
We've got this guy, Levy isn't left. He's in the Netherlands. I presume it's a him with the name Levy. He's in the Netherlands, the most decadent, superficial land under the stars.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the world champ. And we've got Harley who's saying, is that the world champ, Misha? So,
yes.
Yes, she is the world champ, Misha.
Yes.
Do you do BJJ, do you, Harley? Which Harley is this? Do I know you, Harley?
Which Harley is this?
Yeah, let's find out which Harley this is, if Harley wants to disclose. It says Harley DJ JABBA Oz. So I think Harley's in Australia.
Dave. Hey,
Dave Harley. Hey, buddy. Awesome. G'day, Oxstat. Wow, there are lots of people joining today. This is
awesome.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. This is like a whole different experience to previous. So I really appreciate everybody dropping in. All right. If anybody actually wants to come on the stream as well and actually like commentate or give their feedback, I'm so glad, Harley, it's you. Awesome. If anyone wants to come on the stream and actually kind of listen with us and discuss, you're always welcome. It's not a structured conversation. It's a book club. So it's just like we're happy to make mistakes on this show, this stream. We're happy to kind of just put ourselves on a limb and we're not experts. Okay. We're just trying to consume some content and discuss it together. So anyone who wants to ever come on, just let me know. I'll send you a link, just like Misha. And I'm really hoping Misha's going to be a regular on the show.
Definitely.
All right.
Add it on my Oxstash. You have a question for Anton.
Ooh, hit us, Oxstash. Let's go. How active has your king been on the board? Well, it depends on if we're talking about investment or if we're talking about chess. If we're talking about chess, my king is getting more active. If we're talking about investment, my king has not been active lately because I've been trying to pay the bills. But in chess, yeah, definitely. I like to have a more active king, especially at the end of the game. And we've got Levy isn't left. A lot of people have gone from the Netherlands to Australia when a man with a modest mustache came to play the trumpet from the east, from on the eastern border. I don't know what that means. Do you have any idea? Okay, cool. All right. Yes, I do play chess.
From like in a man with a modest mustache. Is that Hitler?
Maybe. Did he play trumpet?
80 years ago.
I think, wow, Misha, you are on fire.
On fire this morning.
In the quiz show. That is true. All right, let's listen to some Charlie Munger before we get consumed by it.
I think it many times leads to false confidence. The harder you work, the more confidence you get. But you may be working hard on something that is false. Charlie Munger, Seeking Wisdom, 2000.
Hang on. The harder you work, the more confident you get. The harder you work, the more confident you get. Confident you get, but you may be working on something that is false.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, because people go like, I heard a coach once told me that people, like, let's say you're a tennis player, right? And you're grinding it out on the court, you're using really bad technique. And the coach goes, you're shit, this is not working. And you go, yeah, but, I'm really sweating out here, coach. I'm really trying my best to make this work. But the sweating, the hard work doesn't really mean much, in comparison to the right kind of work. Like it's a factor.
Anton, do I have a tale for you, my friend?
Oh, well, do share, my friend. Do share.
Well, look, someone very, very close to me is currently in a phase of his life where he believes that the harder you work, the more capital that you can raise via that work, right? Which is often, I find for guys, is often their default.
Yeah.
The harder I work, the more money that I will earn.
Yeah.
And then, so I work in sales. So I'm not using my, I was using my body. I don't use my body for work, but he does.
Yeah.
And there's actually however much you work on something, or with your body, you reach a peak, like a limit.
Absolutely.
Right? So you might be working hard on something and then, he's making all this money and he's getting confident and really happy. And then he hit the ceiling. And I was like, well, was that the right thing to be working on? Could you have just worked a little bit more on growing, growing different parts of yourself that are longer term investments and not giving you that immediate return?
Yes. So true. So true. Like there's a ceiling and then there's burnout, for example, with a body. It's a physical, it's like electrons versus atoms. Our body's atoms, our brain's electrons, or the stuff that's created. And electrons are kind of limitless, whereas atoms, they're finite, and I hear you. Like if we're relying on the atoms, and Harley, thank you, Levy isn't left, saying Australians are more fun than Americans. Bring that on.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take one over those pesky Americans any day. But, also Dave Harley saying he was there, led to a heart attack. And,
you were there, Dave.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, and I've been personally, around Dave to see that journey, and it has had a significant impact. So, yeah. Well, Levy isn't left. The USA is not the only failed society, man. I'd like to
True.
say the world doesn't really work. That's one of the reasons why we have this show.
Oh yeah.
Is to try and
Yeah.
spread some love, some knowledge in the space of education, eradicate poverty.
Mhm.
That's the game. All right, we've only got 10 minutes left. Let's keep going. As much as I'm really enjoying this. Like, if it
Yeah,
keeps going
fun.
like this, we're gonna have to make these 1 hour segments because there's a lot of things happening right now.
Yeah,
Anyway, let's
true.
keep going.
People tend to vastly overestimate their own capabilities. This is a huge problem for many investors and a major part of the reason why staying within a circle of competence is so important. This book has made the point repeatedly that the most effective way to genuinely reduce risk is to know what you're doing. Part of being a genuine expert is to know the limits of your own competence. Unfortunately, this is far too often not the case. Daniel Kahneman believes confidence is a feeling, one determined mostly by the coherence of the story and by the ease with which it comes to mind, even when the evidence for the story is sparse and unreliable. The bias toward coherence favors overconfidence. An individual who expresses high confidence probably has a good story, which may or may not be true.
Oh man, well, you and I are both in sales, right? And
Yeah.
I know that if I have a good narrative, then anything I can sell anything, right? Anything at
Yeah.
all, as long as there's a great narrative. I'll become more and more confident in that narrative. That narrative becomes more and more true for me, and then as a result, it becomes more and more true for the client.
Yeah.
So I really do get that. I'm sure you do too.
Oh, Anton, I work in fintech, right? So,
Mhm.
and a lot of the people that I talk to, I'll be on
Mhm.
a call with them, and I know what our products do. I know the very high level stuff. I know enough to look smart in a conversation with an investment banker, but that's
Mhm.
about it. And then if you're
Mhm.
talking to someone who's a chief treasury officer and they start talking to you about like the ins and outs of how everything works, I literally glaze over and I'm like, I know nothing. Or I just
Yeah.
start taking notes to start
Yeah.
looking. But yeah, like at the moment, I'm trying to progress to an account executive role.
Mhm.
And so many of the, and I thought, like I thought that I was getting really confident, thinking that I was doing really good. And then I sat in a meeting yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I actually have no idea.
Mm. Yeah.
Levi, what are you actually doing?
I think he means like, what do you actually sell? Maybe, or
Uh,
maybe, yeah. I think that's what he means.
is that what you mean, Levy?
Yeah,
Well,
I assume he
yeah,
does.
yeah. So, the
Oh, he
whole
doesn't understand the whole stream. All right, this is a book club, man. So the idea is we read books and we discuss them, and then we interact with chat, and we have fun, and we learn.
yes.
And yeah, Misha is a world champ in jiu-jitsu and a fintech person. I do jiu-jitsu and play chess, and I run businesses, but we are in no ways authorities to talk about financial investment, but we do want to learn. That's what
That's
this
why we're
stream is
here.
all about.
Yeah, we're here to learn.
We're here to
Downsides.
learn. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. So the confidence goes up and down, right? The confidence
Yeah.
goes up and down depending on who you're talking to. I agree.
Mm,
All right. All right, we've got
mm.
6 minutes to go.
In responding to a survey, 70% of students said they were above average in leadership ability, and only 2% rated themselves as below average in relation to their peers. In rating their athletic skills, 60% saw themselves above the median and only 6% below the median. Companies are not immune from this excessive self-regard tendency, including Berkshire's portfolio companies. Geico got to thinking that because they were making a lot of money, they knew everything, and they suffered huge losses. All they had to do was to cut out all the folly and go back to the perfectly wonderful business that was lying there. Charlie Munger, USC Business School, 1990.
Yeah, that happens for me. I start to get a level of success, then I'll get overconfident. I'll step too far, and it will cause me a setback to at least back to where I was, possibly further behind. I'll learn stuff and I'll rationalize it that way, but I really do shoot myself in the foot many times over. That I don't have to because I become overconfident.
Is that because you're confident in the markets that you're watching, or is that because you're just...
No, I think I'm better than I am. I think I'm better than I actually am. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, Levy. And yes.
Yeah, that's a fair point. If you know yourself, you know the world. Agreed.
Yeah. Levy isn't left. For those of you who are not on Twitch, he said, if I could have imagined everything, he said, I could have imagined everything this man says. If you know yourself, you know the world. And that's poignant. I've got to say, it's true. Like, we are all a microcosm of the world to some degree. Absolutely. All right. So we keep going?
Yes.
All right.
In making his point about the excessive self-regard tendency, Munger noted that way more than half of Swedish drivers think they are above average drivers. Investment counselors make Swedish drivers sound like depressives. Virtually every investment expert's public assessment is that he is above average no matter what is the evidence to the contrary. Charlie Munger, Speech to Foundation Officers, 1998. Investors themselves share this same overconfidence. In 2012, a major fund group released a survey indicating that 91% of their active investors believe that they would beat or at least equal the returns of the market over the next year. This, of course, is mathematically impossible.
That's cool.
13.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So 91% of investors believe they will beat the returns of the market, which is mathematically impossible.
I was about to say, it's not actually possible.
One of the things which I really get for myself is that just sticking money into the market, into the safe areas of the market, like, this is a boring way to invest, right? But it works. The market will do what the market does, or go all over the place, and ultimately usually go up, right? And all of these other people, there's 91% of people think that you could give them $1,000 and they'll do all sorts of magical things with it, including me, and they will beat that return, right? But over time, like, they're sweating on that, they're stressing out, they're day trading, they're doing all these sorts of things, and ultimately the market just is going to go up no matter what. And by jumping on and off things, we're likely to miss the normal ups and down ticks of the market and lose money. That's a possibility. So yeah, it's definitely something I've proven to myself many times over.
And the thing is, like, there's always things in the market that statistically have always gone up, and they'll always increase in value.
Yeah.
But it's having the knowledge and the patience to actually to actually go, okay, I know that this $1,000 will take a lot longer to increase here, but I need to trust in that, as opposed to going, I have $1,000, I'm going to invest in some really risky shares.
Yeah.
Try and make some big bank, like, it's the new Bitcoin. It's the new coin on the market that I'll make a lot of money off. Everyone's looking for the next thing. But even the people who invested in Bitcoin at the start, they weren't necessarily making a lot of money. And things could have...
I'm one of those guys. I did, and like, I'm happy now. Like, I believe every once in a while taking a risk is a good idea, but I don't think it should be the core of what we do, because, if I behaved the way I behaved about buying that Bitcoin with everything, I'd have nothing at all. So, yeah, we must not reject the boundless love for ourselves as Christianity has tried. We must embrace it, as we all see ourselves, our sensory perception. When I observe a tree, I don't see the tree, but what the tree means to me. Okay. Well, religion aside, I do agree. We observe, like, I guess we don't want to make this a religious kind of show, but having said that, I do totally agree. We see everything through our filters,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
and yeah, like I will see something that's down as an opportunity. Others will see it as a risk, you know. Yeah, awesome. Wow. Well, that
Wow.
was a lot of fun.
That was
That
fun.
was that was fun. Do we want to go any further, or are we done for today? Do we?
We can do another 5. I can squeeze in another 5.
Let's squeeze in another 5. All right, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
Over-optimism tendency.
Oh, a new tendency.
In the
over-optimism tendency. Over-optimism tendency. I can't spell tendency. Is it a C or an A?
Tendency. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay, cool. That's good. All right, here we go.
The 4th century BC, Demosthenes noted that what a man wishes he will believe. And in self-appraisals of prospects and talents, it's the norm, as Demosthenes predicted, for people to be ridiculously over-optimistic. Charlie Munger, Philanthropy, 1999. Investor over-optimism and its evil twin over-pessimism are what make Mr. Market bipolar. The good news for people who can keep their level of optimism at rational levels is that the unpredictable but inevitable gyrations between these two states create opportunities for Graham value investors. Staying rationally optimistic as the market gyrates is very difficult. Only a small number of people can do it successfully. Even experts who spend their lives studying behavioral economics can fall prey to the over-optimism and over-pessimism tendencies. For example, Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman wrote this: "One of our biases is that we can ignore the lessons of experience. A group of people compiling a report will estimate they can do it in a year, even though every other similar report has taken comparable groups 5 years. When I started the book, I told Richard Thaler, the author of Nudge, that I had 18 months to finish it. He laughed hysterically and said, 'You have written about that, haven't you? It's not going to work the way you expect. How long did it take you?' I asked. 4 years, and it was very painful." If someone who has spent his life studying dysfunctional decision-making falls prey to the same problems he studies, e.g., over-optimism, these tendencies are indeed strong.
Wow. Okay, so even a person who writes a book about faulty decision-making, about if something takes 1 year, it's going to take, if somebody thinks it's going to take 1 year, it's actually going to take 2 or 3. Even the person who wrote the book thought that they could write the book about that subject in 18 months, and it took 4 years, and it was really painful. Like, we are just hardwired to be over-optimistic and then be in pain trying to achieve what we said we were going to achieve.
I think that's a good thing, to be honest. And I don't necessarily, okay, so this is interesting because I think that optimism is incredibly important in terms of achieving, but maybe there's different rules when it comes to money. Knowing something and knowing, maybe there's different rules when it comes to money. And how many times, Anton, have you and I talked about me like going, yep, this is the next job that I want to do because I'm going to earn heaps of money and I'm going to be rich and I'm just not going to have to work anymore.
Yeah, we all do that.
Do we? Do we?
Yeah, we
do. Really, does anyone else
we all fantasize about this magical place where we earn heaps of money and we don't have any accountability to do that, you know? But you know what fascinated me? Tim Ferriss, right? The guy who wrote the 4-Hour Workweek. So he literally, this book was about, you create a business that's autonomous, that uses VAs and everything else. And this business just ticks over and makes you money. And you go on a holiday, you immerse yourself in a language, you basically, or anything you want. And you live in the way he calls the new rich, which is basically like you can live on 75 grand a year and just rent a Ferrari every once in a while, rent a nice house overlooking the beach every once in a while. And otherwise, you just kind of, you live life kind of frugally and rent what you need. You don't own stuff, etc. Really, it was a powerful concept, right? But Tim Ferriss wasn't. No, it's amazing. But Tim Ferriss couldn't maintain that lifestyle. Like, he wrote the book. It is sustainable, like actually, like financially, right? Because you go and live in a place like Thailand or something like that. But psychologically, you don't want to do that forever. You know, you want to be challenged. You want to be in the pain to some degree. You want to be solving problems that are challenging to some degree as a human being. So yeah, it was a fascinating just to look at his life 5 years on or something, and he's not doing that anymore. So, or 10 years on, how long he wrote the book.
The New Rich.
Yeah, it's called the 4-Hour Work Week. I really recommend it. We might do it in the book club. Yeah, we should do it. We'll do it on the book club. We'll do it next. After this book, we'll do the 4-Hour Work Week.
We'll do it next.
Yeah, we'll do it next. All right, that's an extra 6 minutes we went over today. But look, Harley, Levy, I really appreciate your contribution.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, Oxstash, thank you for you. For all the people on the various social media platforms, YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, I really appreciate you. Let's do this again next Friday. Are you down for that, Mish?
Totally. I'll be here.
Awesome, my friend. All right. See you, everybody.
All right. See ya.